Some people think they can outsmart me. Maybe. Maybe. I've yet to meet one that can outsmart Bullet.
The early years of the internet, which typically range from about 2006 to 2009, they were far simpler times, weren't they? No major issues in your life, no responsibility, all you had to do was worry about some maths homework, but after that, you were good as gold to spend a whole day playing video games if you wanted. And back then, you had a variety of choice of shit you could do. Maybe kick back and watch some YouTube videos, which typically were cat videos or Ray William Johnson.
What's happening for him?
Or maybe play some classic video games like Roblox. Ah yes, simpler times. And yet, in those simple times, I feel there were two games that stood out the most as being pretty iconic, especially within YouTube culture. The first, of course, was Garry's Mod, notorious for all the videos being made with its tools. But the second? Well, I think you know what game that is by the title of this video. The game stood out with its incredible cast of characters, incredibly unique art style, and, of course, its brilliant understanding of how to design a game. Perhaps a bit too early for its time, Team Fortress 2 was created. Back in the ancient year of 1996, on August the 24th, Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington created Valve. Gabe had a great understanding of how to make games, as is proof with many of his titles such as Counter-Strike and Half-Life. It's a shame the fat bastard doesn't even make games anymore, but that's a video for a different day. On the 7th of April 1999, Valve released Team Fortress, or more well known as Team Fortress Classic these days. Now, this game, including the familiar elements like the classes and, well, I mean, it's an FPS game, so I guess they're both involved in shooting. Point is, this was a very different game, and in the long run, it was quite forgettable. Later, they released footage of Team Fortress 2, but the game was totally different from the game we know today. It seemed to be some kind of realistic army game, as if we needed another armor. Nothing stood out about it, pretty much just looking like another gritty and boring game like Call of Duty, which like, come on, we really don't need more of those. But then, something happened. Years later, they finally revealed new gameplay in what seemed to be forever, but the game was completely different. There was a whole new style that almost no one had ever seen before, that set the game apart from every other game at the time. Each class was distinct from each other, with contrasting body shapes that allowed you to identify each one by the silhouette alone. Each class had their own personality, with all of them being different from one another, yet equally charming, funny, and entertaining. So entertaining, in fact, that each one eventually ended up getting their own short films with the Meet the Class series. These quickly became super popular on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure are what helped the game reach critical and commercial success. Never had we seen a game with so much heart, flavor, and passion on our big ass white monitors, so it was truly a dream come true. Now, my opinion on TF2, well, I think it's safe to say that I absolutely adore this game. I can remember back in early days trying to become a pro spy, trying my hardest to do trick stabs and become an assassin like the little bitch I was. Of course, that equated to sitting in the corner with a cloak and dagger and stabbing people as they walked out of their spawn. But it was still a blast to do that stuff. The learning curve for this game as well, while it was fairly hard to master classes, that was the beauty of the game. Every class had so many mechanics and hidden tricks you could learn to become a pro at that class. For example, soldiers and demomen had rocket and sticky jumping, which have become iconic in video games overall, and if you mastered them right, provided you with incredible mobility that would put you on a higher league compared to your regular soldier who walked on foot like a simpleton. Spies had many tricks up their sleeves like quick stabbing, air stabbing, stair stabbing, basically a whole lot of fucking stabbing. And it's safe to say that some classes like Scout and Pyro were easier than others, but that was fine, as it allowed an easier way for new players to get into the game. Of course, I'm not gonna act like the game was perfect. It was essentially the start of the whole loot crate trend, people spending their hard-earned cash for pointless virtual hats. I mean, yeah, I'm totally not guilty of doing that. Some items were incredibly unbalanced, like the Dead Ringer, which, honestly, as a spy main, I'm gonna say, if you use the Dead Ringer regularly, just fuck you, man, just fuck you. But over time, they have patched them, so it's not all bad. The pros outweigh the cons. It was still one hell of an amazing game, but fins don't last forever. TF2 had done a lot of updates over the years. The Uber update, Man vs. Machine, Christmas updates, Love and War, End of the Line. Some good, some not as good. However, there is one update in particular that I think was one of the sole reasons this titan of a game was finally killed off. On the 7th of July, 2016, the team at Valve brought us the Meteor Match update. I can remember this first being released. I thought, wow, a competitive mode, this is gonna be amazing! Finally, a somewhat legit reason for me to break my headphones over this fucking game! But instead, what we were greeted with was this. They added an entirely new queuing system that not only was used for the brand spanking new competitive mode, but instead was incorporated into the casual mode as well. Now, this doesn't sound too bad. Sure, it looked nice, and hey, there was a leveling up system now, so it can't be that bad. Well, that's where you're wrong. Because now, whether you are doing competitive or casual, you could be stuck waiting for a game for up to 10 minutes. I'm sorry, but for an FPS game, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'd expect this kind of matchmaking for a game like League of Legends, and even then, you'd have to be like Diamond to wait that long. But hey, maybe the competitive mode is still good and works fine? Wrong. Because you could be playing a match for about 40 minutes, and then some punk ass bitch leaves the game, and TF2 has the audacity to decide that the game hasn't even been played. Look, I'm all for giving teams some benefits if a loser leaves halfway through the game, but this was just ridiculous. This update overall made casual seem absolutely pointless. When you had to spend ages waiting for either a casual or a competitive game, I mean, you may as well just play competitive. Not only that, but they removed Quick Join, which was a feature I believe a large amount of the player base used to quickly get into games. It's not just me who had a problem with this update though. There were countless threads on the Steam forums complaining, videos analysing why this update sucked huge balls, and of course, the Reddit went mad too. It seemed about everyone hated this update, and rightfully so. So, this is where I believe the game died. It's because all before this moment, TF2 updates were always pretty well received, or at least they were taken with a simple meh. Not only that, but this was supposed to be a huge update. Competitive modes in games were huge at the time thanks to games such as League of Legends and CSGO becoming huge within esports and the game community in general. So TF2 failing at something as big as this was crucial, and it wasn't just going to be taken lightly. Honestly, this isn't bad. A game like TF2 was destined to eventually die. I mean, it's been around since 2007, so I think it's safe to say that it has had a long lifespan. And for that reason alone, I think that's why it has managed to still be in the top 10 charts on Steam. But it's certainly not as big as it once was, far from it. So even though it may be dead, it had a very long life for a game. But all good things must come to an end. So the question is, can it be revived and resurrected from the dead? Well, to be honest, I believe it can be. For a start, they already fixed all the problems with the Meteor Match update, but the damage has already been done. They do, however, have the advantage of being free, and I think that with that, they could pull people back in. But how so? One of the simplest would be to add a new class. Now, I understand that's quite a controversial idea, as TF2's 9 classes are already iconic enough, and there isn't a huge need for any other ones. But looking at it logically, could you imagine how much social media would blow up over such a huge thing? It would surely make the game trending again and pull in tons of players all aiming to try out this new character. There are some downsides, but it would pretty much guarantee a revival in my opinion. Other ideas could feature huge class overhauls that fix the bad things to do with that class and make them even more interesting to play. They could add another new game mode similar to Man vs. Machine, or if all else fails, fuck it, just make TF2 Battle Royale. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie and saying I think that would unironically be fun. Think about it. You could go around and pick up different weapons. I mean, after all, TF2 has a huge variety, and so it could work out quite well. Yeah? No? Probably no, but you get what I'm saying. But maybe it's better if TF2 doesn't get revived and stays dormant. It's been around for 11 years since its release, so I'm not sure if it would be better if the game could just finally rest after being in action for so long, so we can remember it. It's fair to say that there isn't a game quite as iconic, rememberable, fun and unique as Team Fortress 2 was. From the gameplay that could be changed completely by changing your weapons, characters that have all become staples in pop culture, and even its short movies still holding up to this day, still being as funny, charming as they once were all those years ago. I don't believe we'll ever get a game quite like TF2 again. Games have tried, but none can quite do it like Valve. Godspeed, Valve. Godspeed. Anyways, thanks for watching. Sorry if you've been expecting more two sides of the coin videos. It's just that these videos are so much more fun for me to make right now, and well, they do pretty good in terms of views, and look, I don't want a dead channel forever, lads. But hey, you guys seem to be liking them anyway, so I guess it works out in the long run. While I'm here, I want to give a big thank you to my Patreons, with a special thanks to Liam AK. The support is very much appreciated, and it honestly means the world. Leave a comment below, tell me what game you want me to talk about next. I'm thinking perhaps CSGO or Overwatch. Anyways, I'll see you boys next time.